Okay, let's settle down and we'll begin our course for groups. You can hear. Hello, okay. Yeah, settle down, we'll begin our course. Okay. Yeah, last week we traced a simple mascot, the Kumamo mascot, which has no outline, right? So we're deeping more into these tools we haven't used last week. First, I would place another character, which is the Doraemon from Japan. Okay, so this character has a more complex design. Okay, so why is that compared to our character? Sorry, our character from last week, the Kumamo. Okay, so it's less complex. It's more simplified. So it has no outline and it's in closed shapes. What do I mean by closed shapes? Okay, I'll do a demonstration. But before I get into the character, I want to talk a little bit on the tool. So let's put him aside first. And I have like new students here, so let's do a quick review. Okay. So there's these arrows here. This is the direct. This is the selection tool in which you select stuff. And this one is the white arrow one. It's a direct selection tool in which you select your anchor points and you can modify your shape. Okay, so the magic rod, we don't want to use that yet. And we're also this one, the lasso tool, we don't want to use that yet, but maybe later on. So the pen tool is to get your shape ready. So if you use the pen tool, you click anywhere. There will be a line following you. Okay, so this is pretty important for this course today. Okay, or you could click, hold, and drag. Okay, to get a bend. Okay, so click on the next corner, and then this is a closed shape. Okay, once you meet your first anchor point, there won't be a line dragging back of your icon. Okay, so this is a closed shape. Okay, what do I say when I talk about open shapes? Okay, so I use the pen tool again. So this time I'm bringing on the stroke, and I want to turn on the stroke value. So you go to the properties panel, stroke says over here, it says 1 pt, that means 1 pixel point. Okay, so I want to make that maybe 4 so you can see what's going on. So you can see that closed shape with the gray fill and the black outline, which was the stroke, right? So as for now, if I want to make a open shape, okay, so I click, drag, and then click, drag again, and then probably till here, click, drag to make a shape. At this point, you can see that blue line following back of the pen tool. So it's if you need a closed shape, of course you go to the first point and then click, it'll be a closed shape. But I want the shape to be open. Okay, so what do I do next? you use the escape key on your keyboard. Okay, you push the escape key, then the line won't be following. Okay, so what do you do with this open shape? So you see that it's not closed, right? It has this like a gap between these outlines. So in order to have like there's like some design circumstances, you need open shapes. You need outline to a certain point, and then you want that block to be left alone. So let's take a look over here at this character. So if I were to like draw his mouth, the lip area, right? I probably need a shape, but you could tell by the, okay, if this is a one piece shape on the lip area. So if I know how to do this, you see, you could tell the resemblance. See, this is an open shape. So you can make the lip shape if you understand, if you know how to like open a shape, right? So this is necessary to make this lip area a whole piece. Okay, so these are example. Another example is the arm and the body. You see this line like cutting in. So some shape has to be open. So you need to have like open shapes in order to like design characters such as this one with the outline, right? With the black outline. So it has like different characteristics from the mascot we we were introduced last week. So let's let that shape be at the side. So of course we have the curvature tool. This is easy to make, round shapes, right? Let's ESC again, and then let's go to the empty area. So you'll automatically bend your line, right? So if I want this to be open shape, then ESC will leave that piece alone. Okay. So you either want it closed or open for designing reasons. And of course, we have the type tool. We won't get into that yet. And we have the line tool, okay, line segment. Okay, so this is pretty easy just to make lines. Okay, it won't show any fill because it's just a stroke tool. Okay, of course you could like move your line, move the angles around with the direct selection tools. You go to one of these anchor points, you could like resize or relocate the anchor point. Okay, so that's how you make like simple shapes. Of course, there's like this rectangular tool, like round rectangular tool, which are a default shape tool for you to handle. But there's something else. There's like a hidden option. Okay, let's put all these aside. Line I would just delete. Okay, ordinarily I would like select one of these tools, for example, the rectangular tool. I would click and drag to make a rectangle, right? Okay, so actually there's a couple of ways you could do it. After you drag, you could like go to, but you have to select it. Make sure it's selected, okay? So you could go to properties, okay? You see these like shape right now, you can see the W, that's the width, and then the height. You could actually click in to modify the height and the width. For example, 10 millimeters times 10 millimeters. Okay, something around there. Okay, let's do that again. 10 millimeters, that would make it a perfect square. Of course, because I have my default artboard in my workspace in A4, right? So we go to File, New, and I selected A4. That's why. So this is the actual scale of the square, right? So you could correct your square on the side on the properties panel, or Better yet, you could like you select the rectangular tool. You don't click and drag. You click on your right key again on the open area, on open space. Okay, a pop-up menu will come up, and then you could click in your your size of your triangle. If let's say 100 millimeters and a 100 millimeters. Okay, so if you have that locked in, you just have to like type in once. Once you click on that, the actual size will pop up. Okay, so this actually matches with the ruler. Okay, well, this is the exact scale when you have your printed out from the printer. Okay, so but actually you could like does not really have to be in millimeters. You could type in any units. So let's say 10 centimeters, the cm, and then 100 millimeter underneath. It will be the same thing. Okay, so you could like transfer in different units in points, pixels, and you could just type in. It'll show the exact scale on your canvas, okay, or the workspace, whatever you want to call it. So there's like, remember the additional option. You could click and drag the shape and or just click again on empty space to type in your size. But it does not. But if you use like, for example, the Pentagon tool, the polygon tool, okay, the polygon tool used to be that you click and drag. As for now, I have like a hexagon, right? So you could click once on your empty space. You could like, for example, now I have like 6 sides. If I have 5, I have like a polygon, a pentagon, a 8 as a octagon. So whatever number you type in, it'll show like the different the number of size toward your needs, right? So there are like differences between like these different shapes. And then for the star tool, the same. If I click and drag, would be like a 5-edge 5-point star. And if I click once on the empty space, I could like add it to whatever number that I need. And then there's also like a radius calculation of your radius. You could change the numbers around to give it a try to see how the radius affects your shape. So as for now, I have like 8 points. So it'll be like a 8-point star. Okay, so let's try again with maybe you got to be like more than 3. Okay, if you want to make a triangle, like the easy way to make a triangle is just to use the star tool, click 3 points, you'll get a triangle. But it'll look a little bit odd. It'll be squeezed in the middle a little bit. Not really a triangle, but you get the point, right? You click in the points and you get as many edges as you want. Okay, so the last one will be the flare tool. I don't use this often. I seldom use this. It's that sometimes if you have like it actually drags a light beam. Okay, so you see this like sort of like light beam. If you let go, it'll be some kind of ray of light. But this works better if you have like a graphic of some sort underneath. Okay, so maybe I want to try that again on this character here. You'll probably get the idea, right? So you could see this beam of light affecting your image, ray of light. Okay, so I don't use this often, so it's there if you need it. Okay, so of course you could click to have like modification on the beams of light, either on the rays, either on the rings, the halo, of course. But it's there if you need it. Okay, so These tools are probably you'll be able to use them today. Okay, so let's go to the line tool first. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit on stroke. Okay, so let's turn on the stroke panel. Okay, it's there on the right. It says stroke with the 3 lines. If it's not there, go to Windows and look for stroke. So it's down there. Click that open. It'll probably look like this. It's pretty simple with just a simple weight, which you could select on the value. Okay, but there's more to it. You see this hamburger, like all these panels, there's like additional options, but you have to click something to release these options. So you go up here to the hamburger icon over here on the upper right of this panel. You click, and then it says show options, which is pretty important. Okay, once you click on that, oops, all these like other options will pop up. Okay, especially the arrowheads and the type of lines you want to use. Okay, which is pretty important. Okay, let's drag a line. Okay, so let's select that line tool again. Let's drag a simple line. Okay, if you want your line to be a straight, let's say like maybe a horizontal or vertical, you want to make sure that it's a perfect horizontal line. You push on your you press down on your shift key. It'll go in every, I guess, 15 degrees. Okay, so let's have that straight line. Okay, so let's go through that values in our stroke panel. Okay, the first one, of course, some of the stuff are also on the properties panel. Okay, so but not not all the stuff. So you better be careful. So you want that option released. So the first one, of course, pretty easy. The weight, which the larger the weight, the thicker your line will go. Okay, so all these later, and I want to go down here to the arrowheads. Okay, you see these 2 line that goes through this drop down menu. So if you click on one of these like drop down menus, it'll show like different arrows. Okay, for example, arrow 1, it'll be like this shape over here. So watch, there's like a scaling value in which, okay, this arrow might be too big. So you want to click down on that value to get your size right. Okay, you could click and hold to, probably that's the arrow that I need. Okay, so the other, drop down menu is to make another arrow toward the right. Okay, but sometimes you just need one arrow, so you go back to none. Okay, but sometimes you made a mistake. You want your arrow to be on the right side instead of on the left. There's this align button, which sorry, not the align. There's one like swap icon over here. You click, it'll swap to the right. Okay, click again to swap back. Okay, so so of course there's like we won't go into the align because it's aligned. Okay, you see the anchor point, you see the white square. If you like have it on the left icon, the arrow would the end of the arrow will be the anchor point. Okay, so if you click the icon on the right, the end of the anchor point will be on the tip of the arrow. Okay, so depending on your your needs, sometimes I don't mess with this too much because you could just tell by the your design skill which to where to meet your arrows. And there's this profile over here. Okay, if you like go down, there'll be like different shapes to your line. Okay, so this one there's like a 2 structure on the line. There's like a point, a hard point on the end, and here it's like a shooting arrow. And then all these like profiles, like if you make selections, will be on your properties panel. You can see the like the width profile, and then some of these like values on the also on the properties panel. So to make things like easier to handle, there's like some properties up on top. So you could at least make selections on the top bar or on the stroke panel or on the properties panel. If you change any of the values on a specific palette, they'll be the same. Okay, so you could play with it a little bit to find out how it works. So it's a combination of like properties, your stroke panel or any panel, and whatever like item you're dealing with, which is selected, you'll be able to make modifications also on top. So on top, on the panel, or on the properties panel. Okay, so it's it's there. Sometimes you don't really need to open a certain panel because you select an item, you can modify it either on the properties or on the top. But if you want to dive in deeper, you need to like open the panel. Okay, so let's go to this dashed lines. Okay, so let's like make another line. Okay, so let's make a straight line. Want to bring up the stroke value, and you see this dashed lines. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, if I click at it, there will be like 6 like values in which you want to click in. Okay, so the first one it says the default will be 12. Okay, of course you could change this value to whatever you like. Maybe you want to make 6, so your line is more squeezed together. So whichever like the anchor point lands on the on wherever you want to put the lines in between will always be like 6 pixels. Okay, of course, but you could do modifications. For example, this is the blank space. Okay, the blank space, I could modify this to maybe a 3. Okay, so the next dot will be probably a 12. Okay, so it'll be sort of like a Morse code-ish type of a design. If you like click values into different spaces, but if you just need dash lines, so just leave these to 0. Okay, so there'll be like ordinary dash lines. This is just in case that you need like different spaces between your dashes. Okay, so let's make that 0 again. So, oops, click on that line first, make that value 0, and the next one also 0. Okay, so that will be your 6 pixels in between each space, right? Okay, so there are 2 of these like icons on top of this dashed lines. So let's make a square. Okay, so go back to our tools again and click to our rectangular tool. And because this is on, so my default would be dashed lines, right? Gap lengths. You wouldn't, understand what that meant. No, just give it a try. So I want to click the one on the right. So you can see like edges. So the dashes actually like overlap with each other. So in case that like whichever like size that goes, the edges will be overlapped. Two of the dashes will overlap to show like a bent, like a curved edge of some sort. So if you like need your edges to look always sort of like frame, click the one on the left. If not, the one on the right. Okay, you have to select your item first, then select the one on the left. You see, now the corners would not really overlap, but sometimes it will like kind of bend, okay, but it won't be sort of like framed. Okay, so these are the two differences between these icons. So what are these up here? Okay, so let's make not a dash line. Okay, let's just make it ordinary square. Maybe I want to color this to let you guys like tell the difference. Let's make that maybe a brighter-ish reddish color. Then I want to zoom in on this object. Want to have that stroke panel out again. So the default will be all these on the left. Okay, will be all to the left. So let's click on the second one. Well, you can't really tell the difference because you need the line. Okay, so let's make the line again. Make that horizontal. Okay, so let's like bring up the value so you guys can tell the difference. Maybe a 18 weight. Okay, so let's click on that line. So for the, I guess it's called cap. Okay, the default would be that the anchor point is in the middle of this line and it meets to the end and then it chops, right? So it's like a sharp edge. So if I click to the second icon, you'll have like round corners on the line, right? So there'll be like round edges. So the third one, if I click, you'll be cut off, but your anchor point will be, more, padded in. So that when you move your anchor point, okay, so you don't really move toward the edge. You move like a little bit toward the middle. So the default would be on the one on the left, which like the sides, your anchor point meets the side of your line. Okay. So with the corners, so let's go to this box over here. Let's click this one. Let's bring up that value. Okay. So the default is, it runs in the middle. So the second one, sharp. Okay, just a round corner on the outer rim. Okay, so this one actually like it cuts an edge to the sides. So you'll have like two edges. So that's the default, the one round corner and a cut side, cut edge. Right? So depending on your needs, sometimes you're framing something that is there that you need it. Okay, so let's talk about the align stroke. Okay, so default will be you see the blue line, that's your where your stroke runs, and then the one in the middle, it actually your stroke line like goes to the outer rim, and then the inside would be your colors. So, and then the other one is that it'll go on the outer rim. Okay, so it's aligned in the middle. That's a default, or on the inside, or on the outside. Okay, according to your where you want to make your stroke goes. Okay, so that's all to it to the stroke panel. Okay, So so you could like make modifications through like dash lines, arrows, and different like values and on your lines. Like also with the square, if like you could also like modify the different profile to see like different changes to the square. Okay, just in case that you need like it works better in lines, but you know sometimes you need like a special type of design. You could like change the profiles to to give it a little experiment to see what it does. Okay, so these are different stuff you could do with the stroke. Okay, but let's talk something about the more about the stroke tools. So I want to bring up a line. Okay, again, then let's thicken the line, bring up the value, maybe zoom in a little bit to the line. Make sure the line is selected. Okay, sometimes like if things does not work, that means you haven't selected the object. Always select your object first. Okay, make sure it's selected. And then some of these tools has to select an item to get it to work. Okay, so yeah, we talk about a lot about these tools over here. Let's play with this. This is called the width tool. Okay, it's down toward the middle. Okay, so let's click on that. Why do I want to talk about this tool first? Because it has like everything to do with the stroke value or the shape of the stroke. So if you click on that width tool, okay, I believe there's like same type of tool when you're using like Inkscape. Okay, notice that if I toward the and once you click on that, the width tool, you go to your line that you made out or your shape with a stroke. Notice that there's like a white dot which runs on your line. Okay, so wherever you decide to make modification, you click and then drag. You see that line like getting its like thickness, like as if you're like making maybe a rocket or something, a bullet or something. Go to the next area, click, and then you want to probably like go in to that shape. Maybe you want to make a pot or something. And then you have a basic shape for it. And then maybe I want to do that again. So you could go to any of these, like any place on the line. You could click and drag to get the curve that you desire, but it'll still be a stroke. Okay, it's not a fill. This is still one line. Okay, so if you check on your profile, actually, you're actually making a new profile. Okay, so it's one of these profiles that you're making. Okay, so once you end up with that, you could like select maybe on your square again, and then use the eyedrop tool to go to that. Okay, does not really change, but okay, that's a mistake. Well, you get the idea. Okay, so you could make a line and then go use the width tool to modify the thickness on your line. It'll still be a line. Okay, so if you want to change the color, make sure to go to the stroke area in which you want to color, either on the properties, the color, or the up here on the on the bar up here, the toolbar up here, or on the toolbar on the left. Double click to change any color that you desire. Okay, so it'll still be a line. Okay, so that's what is to it when you're messing with lines and stroke. So I haven't like talked anything about the field today. All about lines. I first dragging lines. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some other tools today. Like we use the line tool, the line segment tool, right, to drag out the line, right? Pretty straightforward. Of course, if you click in, there'll be like more tools to it. The arc tool, which drags, you could drag and arc literally, and or other ways of dragging lines. This is like a spiral tool, a twist, right? If you want to make, I don't really use them a lot, but it's there that you do that you need it. A rectangular grid tool to make, let's bring down that value on. So this is like, if you want to make like a grid or something, it's easier to, just select on that rectangular grid tool. Of course, you could click in to modify that grid, right? How many like horizontal, how many, horizontal lines or vertical lines. So it's easy to make graphs with when you're designing, graphs in Illustrator. So go like not many people know this, but you could actually, just use the rectangular grid tool. If I don't use this, I would like drag many lines to try to make the graph. That would take a long time. So it's easier to just use this tool. So of course, this polar grid tool is the same thing. I click and drag. It'll be sort of like a target, and then I can click in to modify that value to give it a different, whatever value that you need. You're making a pie chart, so this will be useful, right? So, but it's there that you need it. I don't use it often. Yeah. So that's also part of the stroke tool, right? When you're dealing with stroke, we're dealing with strokes today. Okay. So let's go down to. So we've gone through like all these on these two on top, not these two yet, and the pen tool, the curvature tool, the type tool, not yet. That'll be another lesson, and then the line segment and all the tools included. The shape tools, which are the rectangular, the ellipse, and a little bit of the width tool, right? Of course, there are more to the width. Let's get to that probably later on. Okay, so one thing is important is the paintbrush tool. Okay, so the paintbrush tool, you can actually draw something. If you have like a Wacom tablet, actually senses the pressure of the tablet. So if you want to like draw something, it's available. Okay, so you can modify different strokes to modify like different styles of pen, right? So let's click on that pen tool right there. Okay, what it does. It's actually pretty simple. I could draw freestyle, anything I want. And then once I let go, it'll smooth itself out. And then if I select on the line that I drew, it'll be like a whole line. And then if I zoom in at it, and then I use the direct selection tool, you notice that whichever curve that I made out with the pen tool, it'll have like an anchor point. So you could actually do more, sophisticated modification to your, to your drawn shape. Okay. So if you like if you drew something and then you don't like the curve of the shape, you can actually like use the direct selection tool to, correct that bending. So it's pretty useful when you're dealing with sometimes character designs and some designs with freehand. And if I click, so that goes with the stroke. So if you remember that any lines that we talked about, we use the direct selection tool. We can modify the anchor point. Okay. So if I push down at it, there'll be a block brush tool. Will be another type of a brush. Okay. Although we're talking about stroke today, but I still want to get into this one, okay? If I click on this tool, the blob, brush tool, it'll somewhat be different. Let's bring up the value, okay? I want to draw a, just smudge some color into the canvas, okay? So once I'm done, I use the direct selection tool, okay? Notice that when I click at the object, only the outer rim will have like anchor points. So why is that? Because when you're using a blob brush tool, it's actually you're painting a fill instead of a stroke. Okay, so let's go back to that paintbrush tool again. So if let's bring up the value to probably, not that item. Let's have a, okay. Select the empty spot, and then I use the paintbrush tool, bring up its value. Okay, probably that. See, I'm also drawing like a shape. I use the direct on any of the, although they're fake, they look alike, but one is a fill. So they're combined together on each stroke. Okay, so you can only modify the outer, outer shape, outer rim of the fill. But for this one, you could modify the whole, as much stroke as you like input it. You could actually do more modifications. So depending on your needs, right? You could use the block brush tool or the brush, just the ordinary brush tool to, to make your shape. Okay, although they sometimes will look somehow the same. So that's with the brush tool. There's only two tools to the brush tool. And one other thing is the shaper tool, okay? So yeah, let's talk about the shaper tool. A quick demonstration because this is pretty easy. So the shaper tool, I guess it's called, shaper tool. You could freehand draw a, a circle, and then once you let go, it'll be a perfect circle. Okay, so it actually identifies like what you're going for. For example, if I'm drawing a square, of course, if I draw a freehand square, it would look nice. It'll be all crooked. But the the computers understand what you're going for. It'll be a square. It'll pop into a square. So if I'm drawing a triangle, it'll actually automatically be a triangle. So depending on what you're drawing, so it'll automatically like maybe a comb or something. No, it does not. Okay, so maybe it's a circle, a square, a triangle, rectangle. All these like simple shapes. You're able to identify what you're going for. Okay, so this tool is pretty simple. Okay, this shaper tool. Okay. Of course, there are other, pencil tools, smooth tools. These we'll, discuss it later. I don't want to like pack you up too much today, so you wouldn't, are not able to follow. Okay. So let's go ahead and modify this character. Okay, same as last week. We opened up our layers panel. Okay. So it used to be that, okay, let's talk a little bit deeper into let's dive a little bit deeper into our layers panel, okay? Actually, you could like double click to set these layer. For example, if I have like I use this as a template, I could click on the template and then the dim image to 50%, actually it'll be locked, and then it'll be like the transparency will be brought down like 50%. We could trace on top of the, on top of these image, if it was like a use it as a template. But I don't prefer you using that. It's actually more complicated. So just like it's there if you need to know, double click on the layer, some of the values you could change. You could change the name of the layer, or change the default color of the layer. There's always a color of the layer. So we discussed that last week. You could change it to any color. The default will be in blue on layer 1. You could change it to red if you prefer red for layer 1. But I still, prefer its default blue. Okay. Oops. Change that to light blue. Okay. Yeah. So this character we have in here. So let's go to our transparency panel. So the transparency panel is with the gradient panel. So up on the right. If you can't find it, Windows transparency, click on it. This will pop up. Okay, it'll be the same thing. Okay. Of course, there'll be like more options, show options, but there's not really any need for this right now. Okay. So I want to click on this character. It'll pop up on the left, okay, showing the item that I select. So the opacity, I want to bring it down to maybe a 20 or a 30. Okay, the 20, I think a 40 would probably do better. Yeah. So I want to go back to layer 1 and then lock it. Okay. So I won't be able to, select on that or draw on that character. Okay. So this one, I could like double click. This will be our reference. Okay. Might as well we'll name it reference. Okay. So I want to go down here. There's a whole bunch of, icons. Not all are needed. The most important one is this one, which says add, create new layer. Once I click on that, it'll be on top. Okay, that's layer 2. Okay, so notice that it's in red. So because the reference image is locked, you don't have to worry about misselecting that that image. So once you created the layer 2, of course, same as last week, I could just probably type in draw, which means I want to draw on this layer. Okay, so let's exchange these like orders. So the draw layer, which is layer 2, I want to click and drag to the let's drag underneath the reference image, the reference layer. Sorry. Yeah, so that the reference is on top. Then your draw layer, the layer 2 is on the bottom. Okay, so so you could always trace underneath. Okay, so which makes things easier. Okay, so let's like dissect this character. Okay, so you want to figure out like which goes at front, which goes behind. Okay, so let's look. Okay, probably the circle is the one you're going behind. So probably let's make the circle last. Okay, so let's just go direct on the character. So you want to tell like which goes in front first, which goes in behind. So let's take a look. The whole head comes before the hand, right? It overlaps as the hand. So you want to probably draw the hands first, and then the body, and then the head. Okay, so let's draw the hands. So probably I would use a pen tool to trace. Oh, that's not a good place to start. I start from here. Okay, click and then click again, and click and then click again on this side over here. And I don't really have to close this shape because I can leave that shape open. So ESC, escape, to make that a open, shape. Then I want to probably modify this anchor point so that it matches the our reference image. Yeah, like that. Then this one probably, yeah, like that. And I probably want to bring up the stroke value. Okay, probably I think 3 meets the same width as our character. And I want to do a fill. Okay, so but I don't want to fill a blue color yet because I want to be able to tell what I'm seeing. So probably an orange is nice. So I have that first shape, right? So I probably want to do like both hands. So since I have like everything on so I want to click on that pen tool again to, and then zoom in. Okay, now actually the hands come before the arm. So probably I need to switch this to a eclipse tool to bring up, to make a circle, and then probably align that circle somehow to the hand. Okay, and the now it's 4 pt. It's like kind of thick because now I want to bring it down to 3, so it matches the thickness of the. So because sometimes when you zoom in or out on your shape, the values will change. Okay, of course I could correct that through you know through transform, but I don't want to get into that yet. And then now that I finished with the hand, I could uh, use pen tool again to bring that arm shape into where it's expected to correct that shape. Okay. Okay. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. Like, I'll come back and do more, modifications to the character. Okay. Yeah.
So I will go class.
You mean you need to enroll or?
I need to.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, those of you who like just enrolled, you have to join the Google Classroom. So here's the code for it. Use your own personal Gmail, not the school's, because I'm using my own account. If you use school, you won't be able to join, okay? So there's some of you are new today, okay? So please join my Google Classroom. All assignments or announcements will be, announced in our Google Classroom. You good? Yeah, pretty out. Okay, so how are you?
So yeah, this is maybe the class assignment.
What's that?
This assignment.
Previous assignments. So you just enroll, right?
No. I've submitted, but I didn't do
The last one yet?
no, I didn't do the pre-introduction thing. So.
Okay, just try to make up. Okay.
So what are we supposed to do in the activity introduction thing? Like can I just send in the private comment to you, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
When you use COVID, do you use COVID?
Curvature.
Because I keep missing it. I don't realize I
Okay.
get
Okay. I actually use the pen tool.
Right. That's what I noticed. When mine is not curved.
Oh, okay. You see, watch my fingers. I push once, you drag, there's a line following it, right? Then I click and drag. So bend, yeah. And then the next line, I could click, bend, drag or not. If I drag, okay. If I click and drag, see these two like levers will pop up, and then you could go back. Okay, for example, oops. I could use the direct selection tool, go back, and then so these two I could like balance. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's continue our lessons. Okay, everybody settle down. Let's continue. Okay. So I've finished with the left arm, right? So I'm going to grab the ball, which is the hand, copy, and then probably go here and paste. Remember that when you paste, do an ordinary paste. It'll always be in the middle of your work area. So see, it's in the middle of your work area. So I want to bring it up here to this hand. Notice that the reference image, the hand is like a little bit bigger. So I want to hold down the Shift key and the Option or the Alt key to, get it to size from the middle. Okay. If you don't do that, it'll start from the, on the right corner, on the left corner. So let's start from the middle and then let's bring that in. Okay. So I'll have this ball on top of this arm over here. So let's continue. Let's judge like what to do next. I'll say the body probably comes next, right? So let's go to this area here. Okay, so I want to use the curvature tool this time. You can use the pen or curvature tool, whichever you desire. Okay, we'll go over here, click, and probably drag a little bit, and then go up here to our second area, click and drag. Okay, and then go to this third area, click, and notice that it bends differently. So it doesn't matter, click ESC to like cut it out. And let's correct that bend. Let's zoom in and use our direct selection tool to do a little modification to our line so that it meets the reference right there, right? Don't worry about the bottom part yet, okay? So that's our body. So you could go and click off our reference. You can see so that's why the open, shape is needed, because I need that line to, enter that hand, to have like a reference of a, unseen part of a body area. Okay. So sometimes that line is like a little bit too edgy. So I want to go back. I want to select that line and then go to our stroke tool. And remember the second icon over here. If I click at it, the line would, do a round corner, which looks a bit nicer, okay? So I want to click on that reference image again. So the second, so I don't have like enough value to, to the body area because I ended up, with the line over here, but there's more, blue to the body. So you could actually do a block in by, just use the line tool to block out this part of the body right there. And then you could turn off the stroke so that you have like a complete block of the body, right? We'll color that blue later on, okay? So, okay, let's go to the stomach area, which is a white area because it comes underneath the bell and the neck, the neck, the red neck area. So let's use probably the curvature tool again to, you could go in at it, click in to shape that round shape. Okay, so don't worry about the bottom first. Let's have the character complete first, then worry about that shape. Okay, so that's why when I mentioned it's like, why it's not a complete. Okay, now it's complete. I want to modify this circle so that it meets our reference, and then probably give it another color so that we could tell the difference between the stomach and the body. Okay, so that's probably the next. And I probably need the lines back. So for the stroke, black stroke is needed, and then I probably want to bring up that value to maybe 3 for now. Yeah, let's probably I need a thicker line for it, but let's correct that later on. Okay, so I need the pocket. Let's just use the pen tool. Go to the edge, probably a little bit in the middle, and then on the other edge down here, I want to bend it, and then toward the middle, down the one of the sides, and it'll be a complete shape. Okay, let's color that to another color so we could tell a difference. Okay, let's make that maybe green. Okay, and then make sure that the values are correct on the stroke. I want to reshape this so it matches the reference. Okay, it's not matching the reference so well. So let's do like minor adjustments. Okay, so shape the same. Okay, I guess it's working. Okay, remember that these dots you could also like use if it pops up to, to try to round your shape. Okay, so I have the pocket down. We're done. So the next will probably be, I think the neck area and the bell comes last. Okay, so the next area I should be, drawing will probably be the head. So so the character has a large head. So I would probably like drag out a circle first, try to match the shape of the head. Okay. So let's bring that up. So actually the side does not match so well. You could actually like use the direct selection tools and then try to bend that down a little bit to see if it matches our reference. I think it could, so we don't have to add any anchor points. We use as less anchor points as possible because it'll give a good looking curve. You have more dots, the more, anchor points, you'll like your lines won't look as smooth. So I'll try to have that head aligned to our reference. So this one I probably like maybe a yellowish color for our reference. So once you're, so you could go back and check on your status. Okay. For this one, make sure that it's 3. Okay, it's good. So go back to reference again. And then the next ones will probably be the face area, the white face area. So I'll probably also drag in a circle with a different type of a yellow color, and then try to drag in that shape, okay? Just to save time. You can use like a basic shape and then somehow reform it with anchor points. You see, it's not so smooth. It does not meet the reference. So I'll go to direct selection tool again, select the anchor point, and then you can drag the lever so that it meets the shape of our character. See, pretty simple because this character is more of a smooth round shape, of which you could just do corrections by moving the anchor points. Yeah, probably like that. Okay, this one under the face, maybe if you need more anchor points, just add, and then to get your shape right. So this area probably I could click on the Alt key to just select on the single side. Okay, so that anchor point would. It's nice looking. In case that your mouse wibbles and does not go to that direct spot, you can use your up down arrow keys to do minor adjustments just with your keys. Okay, so now we get the white area correct as possible. So the next would be probably the eyes. So I want to zoom in and then make a couple of circles again, like that, and then overlap with the eyes. And I'll probably want to change another color to a more, maybe a bluish color. Oops. And then let's modify the shape into the eyes, right? That's pretty close. Of course, you could do more, detail modifications. Okay, so I'll say that's a pretty good looking eye. And I make sure it's also in 3 pixel points. Okay, so let's go to the retina area and the pupil. So I'll say that shape looks pretty good. And so that shape, I don't need a stroke. So let's turn the stroke off. Let's just change this to another color so that I know that it's a fill, okay? So maybe modify a little bit on the edges so that it meets our shape of our reference image. Since these two shapes looks the same, I could make another copy of this. So this circle on the eye, copy paste, and then I probably want to transform, reflect, right? Because it's sort of like a mirrored eye, right? So you see, it works exact. It's an exact mirror of the same eye. So with this one, easier way to do it is to copy, then paste and place, and then transform, reflect, and then hold down on the shift key to move it to the other side. Okay, so that's a quick way of doing it. Of course, I want to have it arranged on top. Okay, so see, it matches exact to our reference file. So there's also two highlights. Okay, so two more circles right there. Use my arrow key, direct it a little bit, maybe change another color. Okay, so copy, paste in place, right key, transform, reflect, okay, and then click and drag, holding shift to the other side. Yeah, at that same spot. So let's go back to our layer and turn off our reference to see the difference. Now I have like completed the face area, the head area, the face area, and the eyes of the character. So let's go back. So make judgment, which will go next. I will say the mouth comes underneath the teeth, the lip. Sorry, there's no teeth to it. So, or the nose, you could do the nose. Let's do the nose first. So, go in, make a circle, okay, and then drag that circle. Let's make sure that there's like a stroke value on the nose, 3 pt, and drag that corner so that it meets our reference. Drag that top corner. Yeah, so that's the nose, and there's a highlight to the nose. So let's drag in that round shape. Okay, there's no stroke to it, so turn off the stroke. Okay, so let's also correct that nose area. Make it another color so we can tell the difference. So probably need a larger circle, right? A little bit larger than our, so that it covers our reference. So that's the nose area. Now we need the mouth area. So it could be a closed or open shape, doesn't matter. So I'll use the pen tool again. Try to trace the outer rim of the mouth. Click and drag to bend your line. And then this could be a closed shape or open shape, whatever you prefer, okay? So that's our shape. And bring that black and then 3 points. And let's try to okay, for the tongue, there's a couple of ways of doing it. It could be an open shape or a closed shape, and then, or you could actually cut in this shape to make it but I won't go into path of cutting the shape to make a split shape yet, because I don't want to pack you up too much today. So let's just like make a, by using the, I could start from the middle, then click and try to trace that line. This is there's more smarter way to do this, but I don't want to complicate you too much. So let's just do and then try to align these two lines together, okay? Otherwise, your mouth would be too big. Okay, it's not really the smartest way of doing this, but you get the idea. So I want to color this to another, probably a darker color, so that it shows the tongue. Okay. So I have the mouthpiece like finished. Now I need the lip area, which I prefer a open shape. So I go to probably I want to use the curvature tool for this on the start from the left on the right lip, and then it's like curving and bending. So you really have to like the curvature tool is a perfect tool for doing this because it curves like a wave. So end up with this shape over here, ESC. So you could tell that let's change another color to see the difference. Oops, there's something wrong. I guess I haven't finished the shape. Let's click that in again. Wait, hold on. So let's click on that. And ESC, okay? So let's recolor the shape. We're more ready. So you can tell by that's what I meant. See, you have like an open shape. This lip will be easy by using just the curvature tool. Okay. So as for now, let's go back to layers again. Turn off our reference. See, all that's left to the face are the lines, right? So it's easy. You could just like turn our. So these we just use the line tool. Okay. So but it's actually is a little bit curved. So I would rather use probably the pen tool, okay, instead of the line. You could use the line tool for the, for the opening in the middle, right there, okay? So that's, set it probably 3 PT, not enough, maybe 4, okay? Because it's a narrow line, maybe a little bit more to, just to get the same width, okay? So these whiskers, like I could use the line tool just for them. I think the line tool would, or you could use the pen tool, whichever you prefer. Okay, just make out 3 lines on the right and 3 lines on the left. Okay. Oh, by the way, all these exercises that I'm doing on the projector, these are recorded, so you'll be able to, if you miss out anything, just go and check on the. I'll have them uploaded, okay? Because we don't have really a. Actually, there's all courses are required to record, but this classroom is not really like connected to the school system. So I'm actually recording with Google Meet. So I'll upload these like sessions later on. Okay. So once I upload it, I'll give notification that these videos are uploaded to to the school server. In order, if you want to go back and check on our projects, you can do that. You see, I have like basically like except the neck area, the body, almost everything. So let's go back with the neck area. So the neck area, I'll start with the red band. Okay. Probably use the pen tool. Then start from down here to the middle, drag, make sure it curves the same. And then if it does not, we could correct that later. Probably just in the middle. Use as less anchor points as possible, okay? So you won't have like many anchor points to deal with. And it gives a better curve, okay? So I want to drag that, just hold down on my Alt key, and then go to the other side. This is Alt key to, bring that in. So this, I want to probably give another color to it so that you guys can tell the difference. Yeah, so that right there, okay. So a little bit I need a little bit correction of the neck area right there. Okay, so that it covers the head. And then this area is a little bit too thick. So I want to click and drag. Okay. So for the character, just the bill. Okay, so the bill is pretty easy. So just a circle first. Okay. Then drag in that circle. Make it 3 pt. Overlap with the reference. Okay. So I see another shape. Okay. So that's the, a round design running across the bill. I could use like a pen tool would probably do. Go to the side. And the middle area, drag and bend. Well, there's like a million ways you could do this. So this is not the only way you could like draw this character. Maybe a darker, Now I want to go back. So this is not well shaped. So I want to do some more modifications so it'll look better. So it'll move smoother. This area is a little bit too thick. On that curve. Now I need another circle. Shift Option or Alt. Okay, and then a line underneath. Extract that line out. Okay. Now I think I have completed the character. So if I turn off the reference, you can see the character like it's in pretty good place. So I probably want to colorize the character. So what I want to do is unlock our reference. So I want to probably copy our reference and then go to, and then because I made a copy, I could go underneath up to our draw layer and then paste it, and then probably like, drag it aside, or rather lock it first on our reference and then, oops, I haven't done it correctly. Probably, oops, I misdragged something. Okay, let's do that again. Something went wrong. Okay, yeah. So I want to copy the reference, then go to our draw layer, paste the reference, put it aside, and then lock our reference again. Make sure that the copy is on the lower area. Lock the reference on the reference panel, and then for the transparency, let's go bring up the value to 100 again. So let's like select each item. Okay, for example, the head. Probably want this color. Use the color picker on top. Okay, to select that color. Okay, select that color and then push OK. And then for the eyes, also you want to select that color. Okay, but sometimes the stroke will be off. If you want to bring that stroke back in again to 3 pt. Okay, so the other one you could, just these two like eyes, they are, just use the eye drop tools And then for these two small highlights, shift key to multi-select. Also the nose one, select on that white color. That stroke back in on the right eye, 3 PT. And then for the face, since it's the same, you could eye drop from the eye. Okay, if the stroke is gone, bring it back, 3 PT. Okay, so same with the mouth. The lip area, same. 3 PT for okay, for the lip, for the mouth area, right there. And if the stroke is gone, make it 3 PT again. Okay. And then same with the tongue. This eye drop from our original the neck area, our body. Remember, we have like an extra piece to do a block of the body area. And then the hand area, both hands. Like the stroke is gone. Color it back again. Body area. So it's actually pretty close to wherever it's, and 3 PT for the stroke. So these two, the pocket and the body, all from the hands. And then the bell and the nose area, it's a reddish color on the nose. And then the stroke, 3 PT, okay? So the arm area, yeah, some are missing like the stroke value, 3. Body part also 3. And pocket also, I need a stroke for that. Okay, I'm getting close. Just the bell area. So this one first to the yellow section. Sure, the stroke is back to black. Then 3 PT. And then the shape on the bell has the same color, but you need to bring back the stroke value. And then the circle in the middle, a brownish type of a color, and then with the stroke, 3 PT. Okay, let's go back to our pocket. We're missing the stroke on that. Okay, so I've okay, I'll turn off our reference. So you see, I've like completed our the tongue area. Not yet. So you have to like turn off your reference to see what's missing. Stroke 3, and then the body. I'm also missing a stroke. The outline. Okay, let's bring that back. So actually, so the value should be 3. This one also 3. The neck, I think I missed the stroke. So I have the exact same character, okay, but just by tracing our reference. Okay, you'll be wondering about the circle. Okay, let's do the circle. Okay, so the circle, let's have our, reference on, and let's start from the middle, shift and alt to probably bring in that circle, and try to match that circle. Then turn off actually the fill, and let's use, okay, sorry, bring up that value, and then you want to send that arrange centered back, so it'll be as a background. We could do a little bit modification so it'll look closer. So okay, this does not really match so well. Oh, I probably have the reference on. That's the reason. Reference on. You'll probably wonder about the belly, the lower area, because it's actually comes, if you look at the reference, it's underneath the rim. Of course, there are like many ways to do this. One way, it's the easier way is to, just to cut this line, okay? So how do you do it? I select on the circle first. I don't have a fill. And then there's this the eraser, which you see over here, right? You click on that eraser. Okay, the function is to erase that any part of the line, okay? But if you click and then there's like a scissor tool, okay? This is pretty important. You might want to take a look. Okay, that scissor tool underneath that eraser tool. Click at the scissor tool. You want to select on your item first, okay? That which is that line. So you want to put in on that area, and then probably cut in on this underneath the arm. So once you've done that, this will be its own individual piece, right? And then have this piece, right click, arrange, bring to front. Okay, now it'll be on top of that body. So you'll have the exact same design, okay? So if you look, at our, notice the blue is a little bit different. If I put it aside, our blue seems to be a little bit darker. Okay, why is that? Because I had it probably like I weren't, I didn't realize that when I click a new file, I selected probably A4. This is a CMYK. Okay, so if that happens, if you like sort of like use an eyedropper tool of a digital image, the blue won't be the same. It's probably because you're using CMYK. So then you could correct this by file and then go down to document color mode. See, now it's a CMYK. You want it to have an RGB, okay? So once in RGB, this image will be a little bit brighter. So you'll probably want to, like, there's one easier way to do this is to, like, I want to use eyedropper tools, go to that blue color. Notice that the blue is pretty bright. and double click, and then you want to copy that color code. Okay, this is just in case that you have it in different color mode and then you made a mistake. Okay, you want to correct your colors. You want to copy that color. Okay, that color code. Okay, then you want to select on your blues. Okay, so all these arms and body, they'll be the same type of blue, but you don't want to get into, you know, each and then do a eye drop again. So that would be too slow. You select on the same blue, but you could go by using, you know, select, and then you could do same fill color. Okay, so all the same fill colors will be selected. Okay, seems that they have like a little bit of different value, or you could just like double click and then type in that color code to you know to correct your colors, right? So you can see the color codes are different. So you could do this, you know, just by clicking in the color codes. So Illustrator, there are varieties of ways you could do this. Okay, so this is one way in which you could, you know, correct your colors. Yeah, so let's not worry about the mouth and the tongue. Let's just, you know, get the whole design finished. So I'm all done. So these two look exact the same, I'll say. This is, you know, from a reference image with outlines. So this is a way to do it. Okay, this is one of the way to do it, right? Okay, so since we have a little time left, I'm done here. So make sure that you can do your practice and finish up at home. Okay. Okay, so this will be our first attendance call. I'm doing a roll call. So you want to go to our Google Classroom and then link on this Google Meet. Okay. Yeah, once you're in here, once you're in here, okay, I'm in already. So yeah, you want to go to that message board, type in your student ID and your name. Okay. And then to show your attendance. Because I have a plugin in which like anybody that type in the, you know, your message, anybody that enters would, you know, would be registered in this chat room. So I wouldn't have to, you know, like, you know, do any type ins. So come in, enter oops, okay, you're all accepted automatically. And then type in your student ID and name on the message board, okay? So you should automatically be, you know, entered in the chat room. Registration 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then name, call, price. Okay, this is what you do. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're doing it right. So once you're done with your attendance, I think we can wrap it up today. Okay. So you could finish up at home. Each week we'll be doing different practices to get you, you know, familiar with the software. Okay, so this is a good practice to trace an object. Okay, for last time without any outline, this time with an outline. Okay. So as we move along, things will be a little bit complicated. Some will be easy, but you'll get to know the software, understand how vector graphic works. If you're not using Illustrator, it doesn't matter. You could see the you know, same same type of tool, probably named differently or, you know, look differently, but it has the same functions. All these like things I talked about today are pretty basic. Okay, for for making vector graphic. Okay, of course, have Illustrator. If you can't use Illustrator, if you don't have Illustrator, either try to get one or use the school's computer. I believe it has Illustrator CS6. And however you want to get your software, it's up to you. Okay. Of course, I don't encourage piracy. Okay, but find your way to get a software. So once you're logged in, you show your attendance, we're done for today. You can leave. Okay, see you guys next week.